Well, actually, I'm thinking about it. It's also
Yeah, one time I was looking at it.
yeah, well, that's what they told us last week. We just said, you know, every time they had nobody go out, and we were like, hey, you know, the other ones around, we're going, people. It was so crowded, it was awful. But it was my husband and the other two people. We're so bad. We stuck them in the cabin. We sat down. I think that we was yeah. She was. One of the towels. I started scared. Mr. Mack, gritty here. Yeah, Mr. Mack, Dr. Mack. Well, the biscuits are obviously big.
And, yeah, let's, they,
Your name
yeah, it's big.
is what? Who's Mr. Quinn? What's your first name? Mike. Thank you. Yeah. He's, this, oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I recognize the name now. I just didn't, in place for people. I got you.
I heard from here. I heard from here. Joe, did you haul any more to one?
One month.
Just one.
Amazing a lot. We've done some other stuff.
Of course, I hate this. The last bit we took, the next thing. I've been back. The septic. Because he can put it
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States,
to the republic for which it stands.
Okay, we have a few things on the agenda tonight. It won't take too long. A few opening remarks. I'm pleased to announce that New York State has awarded Ticonderoga $58,500 for the Environmental Protection Agency Smart Growth Community Planning and Zoning Program. I requested this grant earlier in the year to fund an update of the town's comprehensive plan. So the town is thankful to Essex County Community Resources for their assistance to secure the funding for this program. The next step is to wait for some contract development documents, and once we get that, the Economic Development Committee will assemble a panel, a review panel, to to assemble and begin planning for the comprehensive plan. So we're waiting on that. The other announcement I have, this is Mr. Cunningham's last full regular board meeting. Of course, you'll be here for the last two of the year, right? Yeah. But I want to thank Tom for his support. The town of Ticonderoga is a member of the Ticonderoga Town Board. The town appreciates your expertise, dedication, and sacrifice towards making Ticonderoga a place. None of us all agree all the time in this room, but part of the things that we discuss on varying opinions make a better town. We're able to decide and get better communication on our points of view. Many critique this body, which is certainly their right in this republic, but only a select few actually step up to make a difference as council members and other elected officials and to become part of the actual solution. So as town supervisor and town resident, I thank you for your support to this town board. You have my thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This evening, we have two public hearings. The first is an extension of the public hearing we began back last month on amendment of the zoning map. Just opening the hearing now, between the public hearing now, just a few comments and looking back and reading. So this process began when we discovered through the DRI process that several commercial properties in Ticonderoga were being dissected into two different zoning types, commercial and residential. And the areas that we are currently looking at rezoning extend from along Montcalm Street from Moses Circle to Champlain Avenue. These have been apparently zoned like this for several decades. Some of these commercial properties go back many decades, and some of them go back 100 or 200 years. That's always being commercial. So this has to get corrected. We did go to the Planning and Zoning Board. They provided a recommendation to the town through their resolution 58-2023. And so tonight, it is our intention to act on that recommendation. We do now have a proposed local law to address this. And this will change that boundary line to the recommendation provided by the Planning and Zoning Board, which is going to be the new southern border of all those affected properties will become that new zoning line. The only thing we're addressing right now, we're not addressing any other properties, just these. So at this point, if any of the public have questions or comments about this, we will take those now. And I don't see everyone raising their hands. So. Okay, if there are no comments, I will close this public hearing, and I do have a resolution adopting the proposed local law of 2023, amending the town of Ticonderoga zoning map, and stating the adoption of the same shall be in the best interest of the town of Ticonderoga. I will move that at some point.
A second.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. All right, the second public hearing this evening is to authorize the current 2024 agreement with Chilson Volunteer Fire. This is the standard contract that we have each year with Chilson Fire. The only thing that's different this year is the dollar amount that was approved by the budget. The new budget number was $103,650 for the year 2024. That did make it through the budgeting workshop process and into the final adopted budget. So at this time, if any members of the public have a comment about this or any questions on this agreement with Chilson Fire, you can speak now. Do we want to have them sign it tonight? You have the contract, correct?
No, I don't have a, yes, I do.
I have a copy, but it's.
I think we're gonna wait until the beginning of the year.
We'll do that one.
Yeah. We're gonna go to the procedure right now.
If there's no other public comment, then I'll close this public hearing. I do have a resolution authorizing an agreement between the town of Ticonderoga and the Chilson Volunteer Fire Company Incorporated for fire protection services for the period January 1, 2024 through December 31, 2024. That's one wants the
I'll move it.
Second.
discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your service. And Jim, thank you very much for your, I think, what, 15 some odd years of sitting in as chairperson.
I'm going to be on the board this year, but I will not be chairperson.
Okay. Does that mean you still get stuck with the same amount of work?
It's pretty kind of.
Okay, good luck with that. That's all I have for public hearings, so we will go into committee reports. We'll start with there.
Yeah, we held our meeting. Most members were present. We reported that we sold 720 gallons of fuel or gasoline in November. We're working on a light landing approach issue, trying to get that approved with the FAA. Alan Denford and Ash Alexander met with Chris Dosti at Solano regarding the north end of the runway tree issues. That's why we can't get the area needs to be cleared of trees and brush. Chris needs to know the size of the area so he can go to the DEC for a permit to clear up the area. He said, rather than just cut some trees, let's just make it right. And the area they're talking about is called a protective zone in the survey that the CERO has, but also the FAA okays. And that's the area in question. So we can get that done. That will make a big difference for the night landing for folks that, and it is used. Okay, the airport sign is at Dave's shop and it's ready to go in. But due to weather and late season, I don't know if we're going to get it in or not.
It's up to the airport now.
Is it? That's right, it's up there. Yeah, so.
In the hangar.
There's not going to be up.
Inside.
There was a report that the tower was on the tower that was leaning. I think that was just somebody threw it out there, but I checked it with the level and it is fine. There's nothing wrong with the tower. We're in good shape. Windsock has been replaced thanks to Ash. And Brian Duros has been in contact with the group on the runway lights. They're all in operation for now. And they left us extra lights, and Brian's going through an inventory and then checking those, so we'll have spares.
So those are all extras not to be installed.
Right, yeah, we don't need to install them, they're just spare parts. So everything's in place. Matt Nissen of Posado will give us, we've asked him to come to the next meeting, January 3rd, to talk to us about new hangars, survey of the airport, but also the airport protected zone, so we can get a DEC permit. So that's what's coming up. So we adjourn the meeting at 9:06, and the next meeting will be Wednesday, January 3rd, 8:30 right here.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Brown?
I have an issue with a couple things. But Fred called me and he said you requested a light outside the back door.
Yeah.
So I told Tom to put it in, put one in, I'll look at it. To put one in for a timer.
Yeah, like the other
Okay, and he fixed the exit lights at the armory.
Like outside the back door at the armory?
Yeah. You know, on the lower level there.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure everything was done.
I don't know, he might have already done it, I don't know. The trestle bridge, I got a couple guys going up there. Shiny, how much is the total amount that Eric got dollar-wise, remember?
21,000 for just material, 20-something
I was
thousand.
guessing, yeah.
There are no bids came in, the bid was
Yeah, I
out,
know.
and no bids have come in.
But anyways, I got a couple guys looking at find a different alternative, maybe we can save or do something, do it a little bit cheaper, because
There is actually nothing wrong with the decking on that.
I know, well,
I mean, and if we just pick away.
I was gonna get you and I go up and then Donnie went up and then Dave. You get 4 people, you got 4 ideas, we'll pick the best one and we'll try to fix it for less than. Cause you did labor
I
and
think the
material.
five are what's really concerning right now,
Yeah.
but the decking is fine.
But Greg and I fixed
There's nothing
him a few years ago, you know, with no problem.
And Eric just put 7
Yeah.
down. And we
I mean, he
jumped
did a
in
lot of
there.
work, he did a hell of a job doing that takeoff part, but That's a lot. Because labor and material usually double, so you're talking 45,000 to do that.
We can't find anybody to do it first.
And tiny one, drinking fountain removed, so that's done.
Is stuff.
We haven't used it, it's a tractor. When you don't use it, the water dries up and the smell comes through. So, anyway, that's gone. And we're doing some security gates, Mark ordered the security gates, we're putting them down now.
Should be here any day.
Okay, that's all I got.
You took away one of my first thing, trouble, I'll skip over it. The town Christmas tree, of course, it's working now, so it's obvious that the lights were checked and everything was working fine. And it was ready for the tree lighting ceremony. And the groundskeepers also take care of the lights in the park. I have to say, Kissing Bridge. We received one bid for the replacement of the tree, but to put a new tree in place of a 20-foot tree. Nobody else has submitted a bid. And Tom Dietrich has already submitted a quote for the removal of the spruce tree plus the maple and redwood, which is also done.
What was the bid?
For the new tree?
Yeah.
It's $1,250. Water. I figured the tree was going to be able to get that, because we're talking 20 feet. That's what we're specifying.
And some of the other places you contacted are just.
Yes. We had somebody even came down here and he never seen it.
They stay, do they come back and take the stays off later, and once it's established a root system?
Well, he's gonna take care of it for 4 months
Yeah,
and
that's part of what they.
give us what
That
we
was
need
it.
to know.
It was an additional 12,000 or 1,200, but it's well worth it. You use those water bags and also just make sure that he'll check on it. He's planting a lot of trees down for 4 weeks. That's encouraging. TDA compliance is still an issue with my committee. We were talking about trying to make the beach handicap accessible, but it's not clear materials we should be using to make that happen. And it say something that said, blacktop is dead. So we need to contact Paulsmith College because they have a trail there, I can't think of the name, but unfortunately, which is handicap accessible. And find out what they use there. Maybe we could get that at the beach. We also need to make sure that down here that we have handicap accessibility there because we really do. Yeah. Okay, spending our money for this year and next year. Well, you're going to see that we're spending this year very nicely pretty soon. But there was some focus at the meeting about replacing the bleachers. We have about 4 bleachers down there that are really pretty old, and my recommendation is that we replace 2 of them. One at the third field that was really bad, and the one at the second field, the way it's placed there, looks like it's sticking on some ties or something. It never was installed properly. So we would put one at the second field, at the third field. And it would be so anyways, I've had a lot of experience with bleachers, attending my granddaughter's game, so I think it's very important to consider handcuffs. Power outages, and Dave, you've already talked about remedying that because it was an interesting situation for our after-school program when we had a power outage over a month ago. They had children that were going there, and the safety lights did come on, but they weren't all working, and it's wasn't a good situation. The kids were there until 6 o'clock. The game's already so I knew it was down there a couple of weeks ago, and the electrician was there. Things all working, so that's good news. It also has come up in the meetings that maybe we need the generator. This has come up once before. It's not a happy topic with neighbors.
Should have got the week before.
Did you say the Red Cross comes down with a generator in case,
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't help us when we have,
like for the army?
they, yes, it is a Red Cross shelter, and they are self-equipped, so they told us we did not need one. So the one that wasn't printed correctly, we got rid of. We talked about getting that, but there was some opposition from some neighbors as to the place. So, but it probably should be discussed some more because we have a lot of kids there.
When they connect to the disaster, they started to help when we went.
Maybe it started many, many years.
So, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Which is,
Would have to be similar to what's out here, right? Yes.
well, that's pretty expensive.
This is 74.
It was,
1,000 each time.
yeah. Yeah, but still,
Could be transferred to the
So did you?
there was, I remember there
So you have to disconnect everything already there. All we need is a generator. If there was one in place before, where it speed, it's done.
it was gonna be in a different placement, and what inside was, they were gonna get it on the outside. Different.
I'm not sure it needs to be as big as this meeting.
Because I think they're trying to keep the lights moving to the kids.
Because some of the kids were confused. They did call the parents and they came and picked up the kids, but there were parents who didn't come until 6, so. I think they did really beautifully. They've been hearing the phones from me. Next order of business is the Little League, the rec. Dan Booth came to our meeting and he talked about the reason they placed that new building down there. Their previous building, I guess, flooded, and so they now have a new one that hopefully will not flood. And that building was purchased by the Little League. They also asked about a third porta potty to be placed in that field too. We have 2. We now presently have one at field 2 and one at field 3. I think they were planning on trying to get it themselves. So they okay, so they
Gerard,
yeah.
they just wanted that additional thing for the pickleball players, the tennis players, I guess.
Yeah.
It should be secured.
Yeah.
Stay there.
The big topic of discussion was the construction of the new field, field 4. The work was started a long time ago. The advisor was still like a need. And it had been considering to create another field back there. We got pretty well got rid of a lot of grassy maybe, so and so forth. But nothing is.
Takes out the work. We did it.
Did it?
We had to.
Because you couldn't dig anything, yeah.
Well, Ed asked me if I could take it down another foot.
Oh, okay,
And I
okay,
did.
oh, okay, okay.
I did, we hit barrels.
Yeah.
And they came down and said, hit barrel and warriors.
But the news is it's nice and level anyways. It's a nice level area there. And our T-ball teams they've been practicing up by the EMA, but we need to have a field for them too. We have for all the information. And so the 4th field would be for T-ball. I think our soccer players could also use it. And probably the football players would want to have use of it too. And I literally was thinking they could overflow on that too for practice. One problem is there's one of the baskets for disc golf, but it's not so people think we could just move it back to the but the big deal is that they need fencing, and it's not just any fencing. We need to put commercial quality fencing like we have in all the fields. So Dan was given the charge of going out and finding 3 bids for the fencing, and he's done that. And he asked if we would consider splitting the cost, and so that's why he was asked to get the 3 bids. And he's hoping that we were also hoping that we could reduce the cost a little bit if the town had like us through some And I also mentioned the fact that I'd like to see the town soccer using our town fields instead of having to beg the school system to use their fields. It's been really to schedule because they have to work around the school schedule, and sometimes we have kids practicing for too late in the day. And so hopefully with the fourth field, we can start working, get soccer players up there. They would still probably do the games if they did school because they already have, they have better parking and they have the nets and everything there. Another thing that came up as Dan was complaining about the fact that even though we have 5 miles an hour speed limit there, people are still speeding through the area, especially in the field too. And he's asking if we could do speed bumps, and that was mentioned at the high meeting too. And next week is Tuesday.
Can you go back to the generator for a second? This is something I want to pursue. I mean,
I don't think it has to be to this magnitude, but I.
Yeah.
negative bump for digging up.
What did you say that it fire, so it was gonna give her
They have generated down there.
an extra?
It wasn't an extra, but it was of enough size that they got it. And everything, it was sufficient to work in the case of an emergency.
So what would they do if they moved that one there?
It wasn't there, they had something different. So this was something they were going to surplus.
Oh, it's an
And I
extra.
think it's I think I don't believe it's here to be surplus.
We used, do we still? So it's
It's surplus. But I think that there should be, when we have 30, kindergarten through fifth grade kids there, and the lights are sufficient in the basement.
Interested what price we get. We need.
We go by.
It was last year. Let me see if I can, and maybe Derek's going something. That would be great to see what's
We're stuck.
it was on the side towards Stu Baker's.
Sounds something.
Yeah.
I mean, I get resident complaints about noise, but we're talking about public safety here. It's not like it's gonna run 365 days a year.
It exercises once a week.
I mean, I think the thing we need to think about in the armory is the fact that it's one of the largest places around. It is a shelter for the Red Cross, right? And if there's a long-term power outage in the area for whatever reason, right? A couple of days, ice storms, those things happen. That's where people would go. It has a kitchen in it, right? I mean, it's a place that people could get fed. And so it needs to be considered, I think, one of the, as a shelter. I guess my question is, which I didn't realize that the Red Cross was putting a temporary in there. Would there be a way to?
They don't put it in there, they self-sufficient, so they bring their. We used to house all that stuff there back in the day, like they actually came about 5 years ago. Because anyways, they came and they took all the cots, they took all the blankets, they took all the prepared food that used to be there because it's not there. They bring everything self-contained, they set it up in a specific spot, as close to the area as they can get it, and they bring the lunch machines.
So you think to see if they would be willing to share in the cost of putting in a generator, so they couldn't have to, but not.
But that was discussed before, about it, and that's when they said, you don't need.
Let's see, money right now to finish this off. We can get about 200 people in here, in the auditorium down here as a warming shelter, but we could turn that into a real warming center. We could turn the armory into an actual shelter.
Which is
With
what
the help,
It's more
with the help of an American Red Cross.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there's also a staging, it takes them so long to get here.
Yes.
It would be nice to have them.
But you could put a lot of people in there.
What's the occupancy that
Just the gym alone must be close to 200.
The ambulance squad is 60, because
Is it?
60 in there legally.
I'm gonna ask you about
We have a generator and a kitchen.
that. Yeah. Well, if you want to try and figure out what the
I will,
kilowatt.
I just made a note.
Okay.
Yeah, it needs to be able to run the kitchen.
Yeah, it doesn't need to run the whole building.
And the furnaces.
Is that an electric kitchen or is that stuff? Propane.
Well,
It's all electric now.
oh,
The appliances in the kitchen,
Electric.
yeah.
Yeah.
Propane?
No propane. We are
We got the electric stove, and that's another thing, that stove
all
just,
electric.
just hit the.
Right. It's Joyce. Oh, you got, there's two
Yeah.
resolutions for your bill.
Resolution authorizing the purchase of new fencing for the Little League field, as, I guess, a field 4, should we be calling it field 4 instead of Little League field? Tree County Fence Company.
I would just say recreational.
Thank you.
Take out.
So the calling it for a recreational. Tri-County Fence
It's with us digging.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And to follow that, a resolution authorizing the creation of a purchase order to Tri-County Fence Company for the purchase and installation of new fencing for recreation park. The total purchase price will be $16,500, provided the town takes the. Second.
None. Opposed? Carried. All right, thank you. Development, committee met on the 15th of November. That meeting was actually turned over to TAC and Roost for public information hearing in the 2024 eclipse. And so in your agenda, you'll see the slides that were presented on that meeting. See, I have a few resolutions here, a little background. The first resolution I want to go through, though, however, is for TRA. This is a resolution reappointing the following individuals to the Tie Alliance Board of Directors on January 1, 2024, for a term of 3 years. And those are Scott Herberg, Pat Ida, Peter Reel, Nancy Archer, and Lance Clark. All right, David, okay. Any discussion there? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. The other one is, so Ticonderoga and Pride are working together. I've developed what's called a pro-housing community letter. Some information here. So pro-housing communities, there's no cost or obligation to the town for becoming one of these. The Pride would compile any of the required housing data for this. But this program gives priority to, in certain state funding streams, to municipalities that have a measurable increased affordable housing in their areas. And so the first step of this would be to send a letter to this group saying that we have an interest in becoming one of these communities. Then we would follow along with actually providing data to them through an application process. So what I have here is a resolution authorizing the supervisor to issue a letter to New York State expressing the town of Ticonderoga's interest in participating in the Pro-Housing Communities Program. I will move that.
Second.
All right, any other further discussion on that? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried. That is all I have for economic development, so we'll move to highways, and Dave, you cut out, so I'll do that for you, okay? He says I didn't do a very good job that day.
I was a lot more efficient to do there.
Yeah.
5-minute meeting.
Yeah. Or less tangents, that's for sure. So during highway, just a few points, the minutes are in the agenda, but we did discuss deer crossing signs. We've got some residents who have requested the placement of deer crossing signs. The committee did not recommend that, because frankly, the deer, they change their gaming trails all the time, signs all over the place. We would have picked them up in one spot, and putting them in another. It really comes down to drivers trying to just be responsible drivers. For example, not speeding on Champlain Avenue and Lake George Avenue, that might help a little bit. But we did not propose that we
Oh, they're
start.
proposing it on those streets? Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
they're in my backyard, I don't need a sign.
Yeah, you sure?
Yeah.
You don't want to sign up front of your house as a deer crossing? I mean, yeah, I don't mean to make light of this, but we would literally be putting signs everywhere around your houses.
Yeah.
So you already mentioned the speed bump in the park. We'll get to that in the spring. We'll probably look at that in the spring and have some, put one or two in there.
That road isn't in very good condition up there either, so maybe that needs to be addressed first between 2 and 3, the roads disintegrating in one spot, so.
Yeah, the other thing that came up was the pass-through road at E.J. Monroe's, and I want to talk about that later, because it's a little more involved subject. We'll talk about that towards the end. But also notice that effective January 1st, 2024, the Parks and Recs grounds crew will be moved back under the Highway Department for supervision, so that's fine. We have 2 resolutions here. First is a resolution authorizing the supervisor to execute the annual highway work permit with New York State Department of Transportation.
I'll move
All right.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The second one is a resolution authorizing the supervisor to execute the municipal snow and ice agreement, supplemental agreement, contract number D014775. And I have all the paperwork here telling you for that.
I need it.
I need to.
So moved.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And that is all I have for all of them. Municipal facility?
Yeah, we had our last meeting of the year. Everybody was present, and we did had some pretty significant discussions on what is going to happen with the lease on Racetrack Road. And after quite a bit of discussion and the pros and cons, it was agreed that the committee wanted to bring to the town board a recommendation to not consider the lease proposal from Upstate Professional Management for the property of 105 Racetrack Road. We did put together a list of rationale to go along with that decision, which is included in the minutes. If anybody wants to look at that, I won't go through that in detail today, but at any rate, we decided not to move forward with that, going through that lease, which means that the proposal we had in from Baker Finley, which was to do a analysis of lease versus purchases, that we would not accept that cost for that proposal, and if we would ask them or get the board to ask them to revise that proposal to include what their best options are to finance a new build construction. To look at different bonds and look at what's in our fund balance, so we can determine how much we would put into upfront cash, if you will, and how much we would go out and look for a bond and then try to do an evaluation on what that would all cost the town over a period of time. So that's the recommendation from the committee.
I tried to write that resolution up, but if that's not sufficient, you can modify it.
Yeah, don't think it's fine. So the resolution is to no longer consider, and I don't know if we need a resolution to consider this.
We don't really, I just wanted something on the record so that in 10 years when somebody else says, why did we do that, we have it. They can find it, maybe go under the server or something.
Yeah, that's fine. So the resolution is to not consider a lease, the lease proposal from Upstate Professional Management for the property at 105 Racetrack Road, Ticonderoga, due to the rationale cited by the Municipal Facilities Evaluation Committee. And further to resolve to not act upon the Baker Tilly proposal to evaluate the lease versus purchase, but request a new proposal to examine the best way to finance a new build from Baker Tilly. I'll move that.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Maybe you are.
And we will have the next meeting will be in regular scheduled time in January. There will be no additional meeting in December.
Thank you. Public safety?
Okay, we met on the 28th, Adam submitted his monthly report. They had approximately 256 calls of service, 30 incident reports, 20 arrests, 64 uniform traffic tickets, 2 DWIs, accidents investigated was 10, and a complete list of all the arrests are on the website in the minutes. The buildings department had 13 building permits, 2 orders to remedy, and that's it. I think, yeah, that was it. Yep.
Thank you. Public works. The minutes from the November 28th meeting are attached. I have 3 resolutions tonight. The first is a resolution authorizing the purchase of a transient logger with included accessory kit and subscription from Fluid Conservation Systems.
I'll move that.
A second. Okay, any discussion on that?
What is it?
Oh, yeah. They're like flow meters. They're traffic meters for tourism.
Oh,
So that we can
Longer,
monitor.
I could think it
this
was.
logger threw me out.
No.
Yeah, it's just roll and they're down.
Yeah, okay.
And
The other kind of longer.
the companion, this is a resolution authorizing the creation of a purchase order to Fluid Conservation Systems for transient logger, which includes accessory kit and
I'm
subscription.
sorry, we didn't do all in favor for the first one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see, they gave me time. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay, the second one is a resolution partners with us authorizing the creation of a purchase order to Fluid Conservation Systems for transient logger, which included accessory kit and subscription. The total purchase price will be $6,988.60.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Did you aye? Okay. Opposed? Carried. The next one here is a authorization, resolution authorizing the supervisor to execute AES letter of authorization number 2023-005. AES project 5050 Ticonderoga 2023 line sewer overflows annual report at a total estimated not to exceed fee of $2,000 plus reimbursable expenses. I'll talk about this one before if somebody wants to do that.
I'll move it. Second.
All right, discussion that this is, this was approved by the committee, forwarded to the board for approval. This is work that has to be accomplished and Water requested AES help in assembling this report. So, any other questions on this? No. None, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. That's all I have from Public Works. You?
I was not there.
There is something in your addenda from, James about the program, the report that you did.
It's in that, okay. There was not a form, so. Here we go. James reported that had been open, was open for 2 weeks and even this report has been open for 2 weeks. We have 31 kids signed up for the after-school program so far. We have implemented new rules that I have set in place, and most children are abiding by those rules. I am within budget on food and other supplies. With other supplies that I need. He's very careful. He's very conscious of the fact that there is a budget control. So, yes, I'm very pleased about that. The ski program, it's going very well. It just got off to a slow, I mean, he says it was 8, but now isn't it more than 8? It said the ski program is 8. Absolutely. This is November, it's done his last report. I say he had
Yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Stephen Burns done. Maybe.
He's been able to work with the adults going to make sure he has chaperones and everything. So he has, I think he likes to, I think he's looking for it. So he's a little place to be set. And the big basketball, they've already had a lot of signups for that. They had 15 for first and second grade, 34, 18, and fifth and sixth. They're going to have 2 teams of 24 because there's so many kids. So the total number is 24. Excuse me, 54. They've already started practicing, and it seems like the kids are really enjoying it. And he's in contact with Essex County to see if they can establish some games with other.
He got the schedule.
Pardon?
He has a tentative schedule.
Okay, so he's very good about taking care of things, so I'm happy about that. And then one thing he proposed, and I think is a great idea, in fact, I have a couple things in my garage for him. In exchange, a program of used equipment, for example, like the cleats for kids, I mean, for soccer, I mean, my granddaughter had a new pair every year, and then what do? You throw them out. So he's proposing using one of the groups on the 3rd floor, and he's going to send out a flyer. And actually, he was looking for showing units, I think about 10 days ago. He's going to, okay, he's taking care of it. We need to help him. Okay. And he's going to create a flyer and talk about specific items that can be turned in. And
He had a draft of this flyer
no,
that will be coming out soon. Yeah.
at the meeting the other
Looked
week.
good. They looked really good.
So it looks like he doesn't want to inform the town about this program until everything is set, but I think it's all set now. And we're ready to receive athletic equipment and cleats and things of that nature. So that's a good thing, because it causes some of these sports to really prohibit. It's good.
Thank you. Anything from seniors?
Seniors had their final meeting. It was a very short meeting. There's not a lot to report. I have not seen their minutes. They are having a small Christmas get-together. I think it's tomorrow from 10 to noon, I believe. And then there won't be another meeting from them until April. Although the senior center will be open, the director will be there, they'll be open, pickleball players can still get in and use the facility, they just won't be having any board meetings until April.
All right, thank you. Nothing on health insurance, nothing on contract negotiations. Cable, once again, 2 thrilling announcements. Spectrum Northeast making its customers aware that on or around January 10, 2024, Spectrum will drop a lineup sports GOL TV, simulcast, and video roll-up from SPP and Latino View on the channel lineup serving your community. And we'll launch Heritage of BBC America, FM News, FYI, Great American Family, INSP, Lifetime Movies, Unique TV, Up TV, and Travel Channel for the MI plan with package. We recently learned that Deutsche Well will cease its U.S. distribution in honor of around December 31st, 2023. Accordingly, Spectrum will make its customers aware that on or around December 31st, 2023, we will drop like well channel 1253 on the channel lineup serving your community. So your programming TV now. All right, so now here we go on financial resolutions. First one is a resolution authorizing the creation of a new account, A-1440.499 for engineer Reagan Development Escrow along with a 2210.001 for general services. This is to recognize revenue and expend escrow funds for Reagan Development Project.
I'll move it. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. All right, next one is rather lengthy, so bear with me. This is a resolution authorizing the following budget transfers. First group is funding increased costs from contingency in the general fund, $3,896.29 distributed among those following items there: central internet, central website, central supplies, police supplies, safety inspection and software, and the balance after transfer is $14,187.65. Next group is to fund increased costs from contingency balance in sewer, a total of $1,583.10 from contingency for the following: District 8 electric, District 11 electric, and then District 11 trash school. Balance after the transfer is $3,145.68. Next group is funding increased costs from contingency in water in the amount of $3,520.54 from contingency, going into the following items in those amounts: transmission bonus, bonus, pager pay, and filtration plant. The balance after the transfer is $8,520.66. Next group is to transfer youth service monies received defense lines for Journeys and Ski program. And you can see $1,680 from jerseys to supplies, $6,114 from the ski program to the ski program in 7310. Next group is to transfer escrow money received to the appropriate expense line, and that is in the amount of $1,197. And this is for the Reagan Development Escrow. The next one is rather lengthy. This is to transfer funds to cover increased and additional costs in the general fund. $11.9230 from justice benefits to overtime. $716.07 from labor consulting to employee benefits. $204.79 from assessor to employee benefits. $616.17 from property remediation to New York State retirement. $137.10 from education, training, and highway to employee retirement. $1,304.73 to repair and maintenance in aging motor fuel. $979.06 library aid to employee retirement. $577.23 to beautification maintenance, beautification motor fuel, cemetery maintenance, and cemetery motor fuel, and then cemetery retirement. And the last group here is transfer funds to cover increase in additional costs in highway. $11,498.65 from materials to maintenance repair, and $2,985.06 from machinery highway rental to New York State retirement. And on all that, a motion would be really great.
I'll move it.
Any discussion on that? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay. Next one is a resolution authorizing the following budget adjustments. In the general fund, this is funding accounts by general fund balance for increase in additional costs. Guys gasoline is $75.6804, street lighting $11.14.75, building electric $28.84.99, building general cleaning $329.95, Finance General Employee Benefits, 2185 and 79. Town Clerk Retirement, 1603. General Town Attorney, 962 and 50. Data Processing, 2139 and 76. Airport Aviation Fuel and Filters, 12,824 and 74. This is to fund balance for increased additional costs. The next group is to fund the account by sewer fund balances to cover increased costs, and that is 12,755 and 70. Sewer electric, 500 disposal incentive, and 1680 for pager pay. Next group is funding account by water fund balance to cover increased costs, 91.23 and 9 cents. For pumping water electric, 43.19 and 20. For chemicals and additives, 36.02 and 30 for retirement. And that's all we have here. Any motion?
I'll move it. I'll second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor? Opposed? A resolution authorizing the following interfund transfer funds from general to the Eagle Lake Water Project in the amount of $98.63.
So moved.
Second. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Last one here, a resolution authorizing the following interfund loans. First is to transfer funds from general to airport pavement project until funding is received in the amount of $54,503.95. Next is to transfer funds from general to airport apron project until funding is received in the amount of $1,717.67. Transfer funds from general to wastewater treatment plant ventilation phosphorus collection project until funding is received in the amount of $140. And finally, to transfer funds from general to Lushute River Water Walk project until funding is received in the amount of $8,860.00. Motion, please.
Second.
Discussion.
Is this, the river walk, is that the upper extension?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And I did want to put this in as a resolution. This is a resolution of thanks to Tom Cunningham for his support of the town of Ticonderoga. As a member of the Ticonderoga Town Board, town appreciates your expertise, dedication, and sacrifice that you contributed to making a better Ticonderoga. The town of Ticonderoga thanks you and appreciates your stepping up to make a difference. I'll move that.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Dang.
Carried. Resolution authorizing the town of Ticonderoga to enter into agreement with the state of New York for financial assistance for the Ticonderoga Municipal Airport Runway 2-20 Rehabilitation Construction Project, FAA IMP Project Number 3-36-0196-032-2023, and authorizing the supervisor to execute all necessary documents on behalf of the town of Ticonderoga, New York State, in connection with this project. I'll explain that once it's on the board. I'll move it.
I'll second.
All right, so this is how we get our state portion of the project money back, similar to as what we did for the federal portion. They give 5% of the project. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. A resolution authorizing the purchase of a two-way radio mount, antenna, and installation from Adirondack two-way radio.
I'll move it.
Second.
Discussion?
Where is this from here?
Yes, one of the vehicles, I believe. Opposed? Carried. And then a resolution authorizing the creation of a purchase order to Adirondack two-way radio for two-way radio, including mount, antenna, and installation. Total purchase price will be $895.50.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. A resolution to offer employment to Michael Valley as part-time police officer at $30.42 per hour, no benefits, effective 12/25/2023. Upon hire, Michael will receive 10 years of service credits in recognition of his previous service.
I'll move it.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. A resolution to appoint Sherry Benito as part-time deputy town clerk with a stipend of $2,000.
I'll move that.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that one? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. A resolution to publish the annual filing of the town's finance document with the Office of the State Comptroller for fiscal year 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. A resolution authorizing the supervisor to execute an agreement with the Ticonderoga Village Town Joint Fire Agreement for the purchase of town fuel, effective from the point of execution to December 31st, 2024. I'll move that.
Second.
And this is so they can use our fire fuel.
Okay.
They do it anyway, but we didn't have an agreement. We want to have an agreement on this. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. A resolution authorizing the supervisor to execute the 2024 management control agreement between the town of Ticonderoga and Essex County Emergency Services related to Ticonderoga Police Department systems interface with state networks. I'll explain that in a second.
I'll move that.
I'll second.
Okay, this is discussion on this. This is the agreement they need to be able to interface with the county and state systems, information systems. Any other questions or discussion on it? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. A resolution to advertise for the following annual contracts: general contracting, property cleanup, plumber, electrician, and HVAC.
I'll move it.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. A resolution to announce Free Dump Day as May 8th, 2024, and to authorize extended transfer station operational hours to 6 p.m. that day.
I'll move that.
Okay.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is that a
Opposed?
Wednesday? Because I'm at the chamber now.
Does that affect this, that question?
No,
Okay.
It is.
It is
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Thank you.
You're answering my question.
I'm sorry, who seconded that? Joyce Wilson.
See,
Oh. It's got, it's challenging. Favor? Resolution authorizing the supervisor to execute a certificate of amendment of the certificate of incorporation of Lower Town Estates Housing Development Corporation. I'll explain this one. I'll move it.
second.
Discussion on this. So, Interlake's Health is transferring its member ownership of Lower Howe Estates to Liberty Affordable Housing. So it's necessary for them to amend their bylaws to allow for the board members who are not Moses Ludington Hospital directors to be board members going forward. This really has no impact to the town, but they need the town's signature on this before they can proceed with this action. So, any other questions or discussion on them?
Is
I just
Liberty,
want to know, I'm sorry, Joyce, go ahead.
does Liberty also do the Moses Circle?
I do not know the answer to that question.
I was just curious.
What were you gonna say, Doug?
Okay.
Was it Tom or Tom to do that? Okay.
It's just to hear that the
I just. Was that this side or that side?
all in favor?
Yeah.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution to schedule a public hearing for January 11th, 2024 at 6 p.m. to discuss the possible submission of one or more community development block grant applications. I'll explain that in a second.
I'll move that.
Gotcha, that.
Can I have a second?
Second.
As you all know, the issue, mediation issue, Pride TAG, the town working together to try to get them funding, pay for this project. It may not work, but part of that process is to have a public hearing on this, and the town is the only one that can sponsor any kind of grant. So the money, if there's a grant provided, the money would go from the grantee or the grantor through the town to the district. I don't think this is gonna pan out, but because I think there's some obstacles in the way, but we'll hold the public hearing. If there's comments, that's fine. It may be a dead and moot point by then, but I don't want to wait any longer and at least get it on the schedule.
Do they have an estimated cost for that?
Yes, they do. It's around $140,000 to $150,000. It may not go forward for several reasons that become apparent at the public hearing. But we'll at least give it a shot. All right, any other discussion on that one? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. A resolution to accept the minutes of the November 9, 2023 regular town board meetings and November 30, 2023 finance meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. A resolution to pay the abstract.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Resolution to accept the supervisor's report as submitted.
I'll move that.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Just a few discussion topics here. As you all know, this building, the 1888 building, skating rink, those were never pushed forward for the DRI. Pride brought to my attention the possibility of a DCC grant that could pay for some things in this building, like we might be able to get it cleaned and do some cupola work. The other project might be the skating rink, possibly an enclosure and or a chiller for the skating rink. They're not large amounts, so we couldn't do everything to this building that we could have probably done with the RI, but we're just looking for money to do what we can, where we can. So I just want to let you know that that's going on. If we get to a point where I need board approval on something, I'll bring it forward.
Are these all minor things, or we could replace all the windows?
Yeah, you probably won't be able to do all the windows. It's like $125,000 maximum grant. Got the,
Because the windows.
it's like 5 weeks up there.
That should be number one.
Yeah, well, all these windows would have to be historically done.
Yeah.
So, in about 5 windows, you've eaten up $100,000. All right, just to let you know that was going on. The other thing is 130 the Portage. I mentioned this to Matt already. This board agreed to transfer that property to the Essex County Land Bank before. Now we're at the point where we need to do a deed transfer. Just want to let you know that that's coming up. That's working on that now. I will officially give that property over to the land bank. They'll develop it. It's big enough for at least 2 lots, maybe more, depending on what they find out from code before. That would put it back to an affordable housing situation. People can buy it, we'll put it back in the tax rolls, and we can move on with that property. So that's coming up as well.
I actually talked to the attorney today, I got a phone call.
Yeah.
Late this afternoon, and I would imagine. Yeah, the January.
Okay, that'd be great. Okay, let's talk about the former railroad property, now town property, at Defiance Street in the Portage. We have received comments from the current owner of Queen's Treasure, the old PJ Monroe building there, about why the town doesn't maintain the road. Theoretically, there was never really a road there. It was a road bed of a railroad. The property that we're talking about here, it includes the parking lot, the area in front of that structure, and that property that goes all the way back to Cossey Street. That is all one parcel. The town's property is right against that building because there was a spur against that building for loading and unloading. So we have, this is really, you know, sometimes, when Bellagio owned that building, they had that little shortcut from the building blocked off. First it was blocked off with barriers, and then it was blocked off with materials and piles of sand and stuff like that. The town should have done something then. That was trespassing on town property. Sometimes we're our own worst enemy. We by not enforcing violations, and this is now where we are. There's some options here. We could sell the property, which would eliminate that as a public parking lot, and you know, remove any kind of maintenance issue for the quote road, unquote road. But I mean, it's all one parcel. It goes all the way back to Odyssey Street.
And it goes over Champlain, or, yeah, Lake Georgia.
It does, it's a separate
almost.
parcel number. It's a separate parcel
Is it
number.
a right of way, or is it
It's a right.
It's the old,
Yeah,
it's the
so
old.
it's just a narrow,
Yes, it's
it
pretty.
isn't.
Yeah. I know there's already encroachment on that. So, anyway, the other option is we keep the property. I was gonna say we abandon the road, but I don't know if we can abandon a road that lays in a road. So, well, if we keep the property, you know, we can block off that road, make it into green space, but whatever we do, we have to make sure it's never blocked because it's used as a pathway. I'm not sure how much of this Queens Treasures realizes when they asked, why don't you maintain the road? We can continue to maintain the road, which means we pave it and we plow it, but we also ensure it's never blocked. They can't just start parking their cars there and loading freight there and right in the middle of the road. We could abandon the parking lot and turn it into a green space. We could maintain the parking lot as the current parking lot. So there's things we have to discuss. We don't have to decide tonight, but this really deserves a public hearing so people can come in and express their opinion on what we should do. But it really boils down to we either get rid of it or we maintain it and control it. Instead of just.
How many properties does that right away goes through?
Oh, God.
Not just,
A lot, I mean, a lot.
it's not just the one piece is gone.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
And, you know, one time there was a discussion about, you know, having some of that be a trail.
Yeah.
Right, and of course, it's been bifurcated a couple of times because some of it's sold, right, to different landowners because they wanted to increase their backyard interest. So you don't have a straight shot through there anymore. Past town property. There's still a pretty good chunk of it. It is contiguous, but it might want to be considered that. So if you sell it, you gotta kind of think about the long term. You have to subdivide it, I think. Subdivide it, only sell the piece right in that building.
It's almost, again, it's almost easier to keep the property, maintain and control it.
What we did, what was proposed before a while ago, we get an agreement from each property owner that was along the actual railroad bed that they carry, yeah, you did, that they carry homeowners insurance or insurance, so that they have entered into an agreement. And that, but that would include one, you can't pick and choose. And then we got stuck in the middle of that. Some people said they didn't care, they didn't have anything, you got other people that said, I want to use it. So that, yeah, maybe. Yeah. But that was brought up a few years ago, and we started to explore that, because there actually were some people that have signed the agreement, paid their, I think it was $100.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it was a year, maybe it was a year's lease, and brought their insurance. I got that from 2 people. We sat down.
There was AES was involved in that to an extent. I don't know what their involvement was either, but I could have went and walked that because he wanted to look at something through there. I don't know what that was now.
It got thrown out to the water and sewer committee, because that's what it was originally purchased for. And then it talks about doing a mountain bike trail down it, or just a mini walking trail down it, but it stops. So you would have to, you know, it's a full circle thing, and there's one section in the middle of town by Clemson Street at the tax net. So it's quite the,
It's a mess.
So I'm suggesting that we at least get like input, what they think it should do. You know, the encouragement, that's what you want, the community between express what they're thinking. But we.
Yeah, I mean, if you take the parking lot away from them, it's gonna kind of infringe on their business a little bit, right? Make that building,
Yeah.
you know,
they'll have to open the back. To their building, finance. They really make things difficult.
This needs to get signaled.
Well, there's also, are you talking about the parking lot next to the building, because there's
Yes.
space down below?
well, that, they're both, they're combined. I mean, they're.
And I was upset when they put a parking sign on that, near the depot, was because first of all, the place is unsafe, the place icy and it's muddy and hot. So,
Expect to see you put in some sort of informational meeting on that to get public response for public hearing.
maybe the most emotional thing in the town for it.
Big map, didn't we have a map of that? Didn't have to come up with the public
I
hearing.
looked it up on ImageMe to see where this parcels were.
We have original
I have,
100-year-old master in DNA.
Yeah. I do too.
It was a process.
But there wasn't station there at one time, when the railroad was first put in, so. All right, that's all I have on that one. We will go into executive session at the very end, after public comment. And when we come back, we won't have any other official business, but, Tanya, do you have anything?
I just wanna, if you guys have any plans to change your meeting schedules for the new year, please let me know, because I want to get January up sooner than later, because January is my toughest month of the year coming in. And so if you have any plans of changing times, changing date, I'm sure it's gonna be on, we need something as soon as possible.
One thing I did want to mention that I forgot we were talking about this, the town was awarded a WIA grant for $7.7 million. This is for the wastewater, water pollution control plant, upgrades that we have we had, the bill grant. We've have about half of the money for a $30 million project so far, so. At one point, we were looking for money and nobody was answering now. Now it's just falling all over the place.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, DEC for.
and I have to accept that by the 19th of January, I believe, according to the paperwork they have, so. I guess, let me make a resolution right here to it, so I don't have to forget this later, a resolution to accept that WIA grant for the amount of $7,743,293. Somebody wants to,
I'll move that.
okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Tom really deserves a lot.
Yeah.
For, in your, water and sewer department, AES, and community development of the county. This is a pretty significant one. It's, if you really, I do it, so I see it all the time, but, the award back for a lot of projects weren't that big. And, between the intended use plan, we call that IEP, for the Clean Water State Revolving Fund, that had $22.4 million in financing, grant and loan. This is $7.74 million. So your total financing offer from BFC and DEC right now is about $29 million out of a $30 million project. Obviously, we can't take a $14.6 million loan on the books. We're gonna figure out how to drive that down further, but I mean, it's really a testament to projects that you have undertaken and completed. It's a big sign of faith by the state in Ticonderoga, how you conduct your business. And I just think you just a little understated when you said it, but I think the counties, town board and everybody under you deserve a pat on the back. Because it's a significant win for the taxpayers. It really can.
How long ago did you apply for this?
This is the we've been on it for years, but, you guys will remember we did a $30 million bond resolution back in May. And we updated the IUP on June 16th, applied to the CFA at the end of July. And now the IUP got updated, the draft came out. It didn't change. And so we just came 2 days ago. Yeah. Yes. It's there. Yeah. But she basically for yeah. Yep. In history, this happened. Clean water in the 70s, mid to late 80s, and it became actually double plants. And here, this big charge of money. Both and so getting that was a significant achievement statewide.
The other thing I wanted to make the board aware of is, we did receive an invoice from Real Construction. They had done some unsolicited work, on the sidewalk outside of Fox and Fern. I don't know if you ever noticed those columns on the building, but the base of those was a cement, basically a cement form. Those were damaged when they put in the new sidewalk. The town was contacted by Reals about, hey, when you're gonna fix this, we'll get to it. Well, eventually, they decided to take it upon themselves to fix it themselves and sent us an invoice. I talked to Matt about this. I spoke to Dave and to Sal. No representative of the town ever instructed them to do any work. There was no contract to do that work. There was no solicitation to do that work. We cannot pay that bill. I do have a letter that Matt drafted up, basically stating we cannot pay that for those reasons. That'll be going to Real Construction. So it was $1,300.
It was $16 and $72 an hour plus materials.
So just so you know, that's out there. Matt, did you have anything? Oh, we had it all. Okay, public comment, you got anything?
Sage,
She's having
complete.
All right, with that, I would like to have a resolution to enter into executive session to discuss a personnel issue. Somebody can make that motion.
Do you want to invite Heath as a?
Yes, Heath, you're welcome to stay. You should hear this.
I'm sorry, who person?
I think
Me and Dave did it, we take a short.
Sign it as you like.
Yes.
Yeah, all in favor of that? All those, okay, we're now in executive session. You said we would be coming back. Thank you for coming.